I got some special guests with me today. I want to introduce them to you. Over here to my right, we have Javante Sterling. How you doing, Javante? Good. Introduce yourself to the people who don't know you.
My name is Javante, and I like basketball, math, science.
Who's your favorite basketball team?
Miami,
Why is that?
because they got LeBron.
Who?
Because they got LeBron,
You like LeBron? He's better than Kobe?
of course.
I don't know about that, but we'll find out in the playoffs as it's coming up. Over here, come on in. We got Anthony. Tell everybody about yourself a little bit.
I like playing football. I like baseball. I like math and science.
You don't like basketball?
No. I mean, I played it,
You don't like it? Who's your favorite football team?
but Dallas Cowboys.
Good. I'm just glad it's not the Redskins. All right. So let's move on. Today we're going to be talking about angle relationships. And first, what I want to do is identify what does angle relationships mean. That's what we should know. And I'm going to write it down here. Underneath, angle relationships are talking about, whoops, if I can get the pen open. They are talking about how angles relate to one another. In our class this year so far, we've been working on the 4 types of major angles. And we're going to expand on that today. So, angle relationships means how angles are related to each other. So we're going to take a look at some key vocabulary words in this lesson that you need to know, like complementary angles, supplementary angles, vertical angles, and congruent angles. And you're going to need to know these vocabulary words. We talked about before some of the key vocabulary words that we need to be successful in this lesson. One of the words are complementary angle. Complementary angle, and this is important, so everybody should be writing this down now if you don't have it in your math journal already. A complementary angle is that 2 angles, when you add them up together, it equals 90 degrees. Very important, write that down. Second one is a supplementary angle. There's 2 angles. When you add them together, it equals 180 degrees. And 2 other key vocabulary words is vertical angle and congruent angles. Vertical angles are 2 intersecting lines where their opposite angles are congruent. A key word, congruent. Does anybody know what congruent is? Think about it for a second. What is congruent? Javante, do you know what congruent means?
No,
What does congruent mean?
the same.
Good. Congruent means the same. So angles that are the same. So in other words, if one angle is 100 degrees, the second angle would be 100 degrees. So the angles are congruent. Javante is now going to solve a problem for us. So we're going to be taking a look at, Javante, finding a missing angle measure. So he's going to find the value of x and do a problem for us.
So I draw my intersecting lines.
So if you notice, he's drawing 2 intersecting lines. Looks like an X right now. And he has his first angle. What's the measure of your first angle, Javante?
100.
Good. And he has a second angle. What's the measure of the second
X.
angle? So what I need you to write on the side so everybody can see, write M. M stands for the measure, angle. Let's say it's called angle 1 equals 100 degrees. And over that angle in your example, put 1 above 100 so they know that's angle 1. Good. Now he's going to write M, which is the measure of angle 2, which is going to be our x, equals x degrees. Because we don't know. That's what he's trying to figure out. So Duarte, explain to everyone how you're going to figure that out.
I do.
So when you have two lines that intersect, what do you know about their opposite angles?
Are they the same?
That they're the same. So if angle 1 is 100 degrees, then angle 2 must also be 100 degrees. So x would equal 100 degrees. There is a name that we call that. What is it called when we draw two intersecting lines and they have opposite angles? What's
Vertical
that?
angle.
Good, it's called vertical angles. So write that there so everybody can see that. Those are called vertical angles. Important information to remember. Make sure you're writing down the examples. So he's going to step aside to the left a little bit so everybody can see his example. This is well done. So Anthony's going to do an example, another example for us here on finding the value of x. Go ahead, Anthony. Talk us through it.
Yeah.
Speak loud and clearly so everyone can hear you. Good. All right, before you continue, tell us about a few things. How many angles are there so far, Anthony? How many angles are there now?
2.
Good. Point to one angle. Okay, there's one, and point to another one. Good, there's one. Point to the other angle. Good. So there are two angles. Here's the first one, which is 111 degrees, and this is the missing angle that we're trying to find. Anthony, both of these angles lie on a straight what? Straight line. Anthony, how many degrees is a straight line?
180.
180 degrees. So if I were to add this angle, which is 111 degrees, plus x, what should it equal? If both of them are on a straight line, it should equal
180.
180 degrees. Good. So what Anthony's trying to tell us here, if I were to find, and we'll call this the measure of, we'll call this angle 1, we'll call this angle 2. So if we were to take the measure of angle 1, add it to the measure of angle 2, he knows it should equal 180 degrees. Continue.
Oh, since it's 180, you have to subtract 180 and 111, and it gives you 69 degrees, and 69 degrees equal x.
Good. So what Anthony was saying, I'll just kind of repeat. He knew that the measure of angle 1, which is right here, is 111 degrees, right? Plus the measure of angle 2, do we know what that is, Anthony? Do we know what the measure of angle 2 is?
No.
Nope. Right? Equals what? 180 degrees. What math topic does this look like?
Two-step equation.
Two-step or one-step?
One step.
One-step equations. Good. So what we're really doing is finding the value of x. So how do we do that? We get rid of 111. So we minus 111 on this side, minus 111 on this side. Cross it out. We bring down our x. 180 minus 11. Anthony did the work for us right over here. It is 69. Angles are just not used within the classroom. It's actually used outside the classroom walls. For instance, like in the basketball court. Take a look here. Basketball, Tim Duncan has a great bank shot. The angle that you want to get is hitting it right at the point into the rim. That's about a 45-degree angle. So when I shoot, my goal is to get it off that corner. It's likely you should go in. Just like that. Every time it should work. Anthony, you give it a shot. Don't break it. Don't. So he's going to bank it off at a 45-degree angle. Now I see why Anthony doesn't like basketball. This ain't football, Anthony. The goal is to get the ball in the net. That's the main goal. Actually, I think your new career should actually be building brick houses. He's a brick house. It's all right. He's learning them. Javante, he claims he's like LeBron James. But let's see. LeBron James? I don't think so. Javante, we're going to give you a new name. Your new name is going to be Jay Brookham. I throw up bricks. Is there any challengers out there who's good enough to challenge me on the basketball court? Someone, please. Eric, put down your hand. Marquise, don't laugh now. I made you drop during the student versus teachers game. You fell right on the floor. He's trying to get it off the back corner. Anthony's going to give it a shot. Off the back corner. All day, so you can't stay here all night. But this is one example of where we use angles outside the classrooms, outside here. So if you take a look at the intersection, they got to know the different angles on an intersection in order to make the intersection built correctly. Can you guys think of any other examples that we use angles outside the classroom?
House.
The gate.
So Javante said houses. Anthony said the gate. Houses, definitely. You can see all types of angles. Just take a look at that house over there, and you can take a look at the rooftop, and you can take a look at all the different angles that they have to know in order to build houses. Even building a fence around the house. You have, how many degrees is that fence you guys would take? If you had to, 90 degrees, which is a what type of angle?
A right angle.
A right angle. So this is how knowing right angles, 45-degree angles, play in the real world and when you're making stuff and creating stuff. Anthony also just told me not too long ago, Kyrie's mohawk looks like a 45-degree angle on top of his head, and the barber had to know that when they cut his hair.